The GTR, and I just started painting the interior, which is going to be an ivory color there. So if it does look white on the video here, it's actually ivory colored, and wanted to point that out. But anyway, I went ahead and did just a very light coat. That was just to get basically paint on here. I'm gonna have to do about 2 or 3 coats just to get the thickness or opaqueness of the ivory white and make it stand out. You can see the ivory stick out where I've done it heavy here, but it's just a light coat on right now. Once I get that and it's dry, but I'll do a couple more coats and get it more opaque, and then we'll be good to go. I masked off a few areas, which I did this for the seats, and once I get the seats the way I like them and the opaqueness, and then I'll rip tape off, and it's actually ivory around the edge here, and then there's some ivory parts that have got to be painted, but we'll do that probably with the brush, and that'll just be easier. I did the glove box, which I'll probably, I think the box itself should be black. I need to look at the pictures. I didn't print any out. I was masking and painting with the computer on, and so we'll get that fixed. And the vent holes are supposed to be black, and I'll just go back in and paint them with the brush, and that's just easier to do it that way. Steering wheel, if you can see where I painted the bottom, and I started to marked off the edges on the top of the wheel, and I'll paint that shortly. Same way with the door here. The inside should be black. I'll go back in and paint with the brush. It was just easier just to mask it off and paint it on low setting. I got to go back in. You can see where I hit and miss. Basically just one light coat. Of course, when I paint, all my paints are really thinned out, and I like to do several coats before. I just don't like to do one big heavy coat. But anyway, GTR is getting some paint, so I'm going to hopefully try to get that for the new year. At least get it mostly painted, the ivory on the seats. Then we can get the decal on the, there's a decal that goes on the steering wheel and on the dash here, and then a few little paint odds and ends, but we'll get to there. But anyway, it's starting to take a little bit of shape with some paint. The Gran Torino, I didn't get to do anything except for mask off one side, which I got to find the yellow, and I was actually painting basically 2 whites, so I didn't want to get in the yellow mix in the white, so I'll probably do that later. But anyway, no big deal. We'll get the Torino, some paint on it very soon. The Brady Bunch car, I got most of it masked off. Got the sides here, front. I started working on the putting the masking on the bumper. I got to mask off the I guess the grill, the lights here, just a few other little things. One thing I got to point out, and see if my light will make it bright. When this is why I don't like I don't have things shipped to me like electronic parts. I got to put basically hubcaps on the wheels here, which that's no big deal. And it had to be shipped to me because it's just easier if I did the hubcaps instead of just someone taking measurements and all that. But anyway, I got to point out, if you notice the this right here, it actually broke off, shipped to me. It didn't affect anything else. It's just the plastic broke here. So you'll probably have to. What I do is either I don't know if you could. I don't really think you can glue it because it broke in like 3 pieces. But I think if you just take off the guard here and just have it without the little fender well, I think you'll be fine. I mean, I don't think it'll hurt it. But anyway, got to point that out. I didn't break it. If I did break it, I'll tell everyone that I did break it. But I didn't break that. So that's one little thing that I got to point out. But anyway, that's why I usually don't have like electronics or anything like shipped to me. That way, if something does break, I don't have to, go to the hobby store and have the electrician man fix the RC car, which I've had people do that before. Well, I better have my light on. The Enterprise, and I started putting it together, at least doing one thing and that's the nacelle. I started putting the DLM, this is the inside of the warp engines that lit up, and for the longest time I didn't believe it that these actually lit up until someone actually showed me a picture, and I was like, huh, I was wrong. But anyway, that's another little story. But anyway, I got it cut out, and one thing about these, and it's got little instructions that show you how to do it. You basically drill it out, drill you out a bunch of holes, cut it with a knife, and then sand out the hole, which that's fine. And I did that, and the little nacelle thing here, the grill, it really don't fit. I think really honestly you need to probably cut out a little bit more of the nacelle here, but I think it's too much. If you follow the line, I can cut out a little bit more here, but it won't be right, I don't think. Or I'm either doing it wrong, one or the other. But anyway, I think what I'm going to do, just to simplify this, I'm going to put that in like so. I want to take, wherever I got it, take 5-minute epoxy, and I'm going to put that in there. And what I'm going to do is there's actually going to be a gap right there on the inside. I think what I'm going to do is just once I get tacked in 5-minute epoxy, now I'm going to just take some white tulip or black tulip and put it in there, fill the gap on both sides. That'll cure any light leak or anything of that nature, and then I'll put some more 5-minute epoxy over the tulip, and we should be good to go. I think that's the way I'm going to do it. It should sit a little more flush on there, but I think if I whittle any more on it, I think it's going to not be right. My personal opinion, but anyway, that's the way I'm going to do. And then I'm going to put the nav light in there, and so it is the short blink, and then be ready to put a couple blue LEDs in there to get the grill lit up, and then get that assembled. Anyway, that's where I stand on that. So we did get started on the AMTA, which fun kid, don't even need to break out the instructions. One of them kids that you can just put together and keep on going. The MBT, and it probably looks gray, and it probably does look gray on camera, but it's actually silver gray. There's a lot of white in it, but not a whole lot of silver, and of course the pre-shading is showing through a lot too. I got to go one more round of paint on here because I got a few little areas that I missed, but I did get most of it painted. So we are almost good to go on it. Got to paint the torpedo, which I haven't really figured out what kind of color to paint it. I think I'll probably go look at a World War II one. They probably got something in color and just kind of eyeball it, see what looks good. For the motors, I'm going to take, and I probably don't have it handy, but I'm going to go get metallic gray, which is Tamiya's version. This is my metal color. I'll probably spray in there. I may do a little bit of a wash. I'll paint the propeller's wood color, and then pretty much done on that. And then we got to put some markings on there, and I can't remember the number off the top of my head. I got it saved in the email, so I'll try to point that out, and we'll get that going as well. But anyway, one more top coat of silver gray here, and we'll be pretty much rocking and rolling on the MBT. So it is looking sharp. Of course, there's a couple places I missed, but anyway, I'll get it. I will get it finished. At least another coat on there, so we can get it sealed, and then start doing a little not weathering, but a few other things. When I say weathering, it doesn't mean we're putting rain streaks. It's probably painting the motors and cockpit area, painting a little seat in there and all that, and little figures and stuff like that. But anyway, we'll get to there. Before I forget, because I had to go to the hobby store today, because I always got to buy sanding sticks. Where is it? There it is. The Brady Bunch car. It's basically, there's probably a specific blue, but if you look at the pictures, this is called Haze Gray. This is my go-to color for the Viper Mark 7s. I mean, I think there's nothing that's equivalent to match that, my personal opinion, and it's one of my go-to colors. I just think it's fantastic, and I'm almost for certain that the Brady Bunch is just about this color. So we'll get that on there once we get it primed and everything. But anyway, that's what I'm going to use for the Brady Bunch. But anyway, so we got that. But anyway, that is what I have got going on today. One more round of paint for the MBT, then we can start doing some finalizing. Painting the GTR interior, adding the little warp nacelle to the warp nacelles of the Enterprise, and we are masking off the Brady Bunch cuda. So that's what I got going on today, so stay tuned for the next exciting episode.